Hello, everybody. I hope that everybody had a Merry Christmas. And now we are looking forward to the new year. I will say that for the first couple of days before Christmas, I wasn't feeling entirely in the spirit, but I was still looking forward to having that time with people that I love, people that are in my family, and things like that. Um, and so I'm glad that I had that opportunity. There's always that kind of, I don't know if it's like a sadness or this kind of down feeling that happens sometimes just before the holidays or the actual holiday itself. But what I've begun to realize is that there's a lot of stress that's put on this holiday. And even if you decide you don't want to be a part of the stress, it still somehow happens because I'm not the kind of person that just goes all out and buys presents and spend all this money and do all that stuff. I'm not that kind of person, but it still sort of happens. And I've come to the conclusion that it's because I usually use that month of December. So my birthday is in December. But I also use that month of December as a time of self-reflection, as a time to look back on the year and see if I've achieved the things that I've wanted to achieve, and then start to do some strategic planning for the new year to come. But anyway, so I kind of I try my best not to get stressed out during the holiday and things like that. And I think I did a much better job this year than I've done in previous years. But come December 25th, it was a beautiful day. Well, December 24th, we went to Christmas Eve service at my church, and it was beautiful, and I really, truly enjoyed it. Um, I'm so glad that we're able to go. It wasn't as cold as we thought it was going to be, so I'm glad that we were able to make it. There's just something about singing those Christmas songs, hearing the preacher talk, and it's somebody that's familiar to you. You know them. You know all of the people surrounding you, and then it's good to see some of the guests that come in with people. And The last part of our Christmas Eve service usually is the lighting of candles, and so that part is just so beautiful because they talk about bringing the light has come, and Jesus is the light of the world. For that part of the service is it's the main theme that we talk about during that time. And it's almost every Christmas Eve that we have had that. Um, and then also just talking about us being the light of the world and going out into the world and shining our light, helping other people in the best way we can. And so that's usually almost always a part of my New Year's resolution, is to try to see how I can make a better impact on my world and the people around me. So that's going to be something that I hold myself to, is to see how I can help the people around me. Well, one of the things too is I think when we make that statement, we tend to neglect the fact that we could do that in our jobs. I work as a therapist. That's part of my job. And so I'm helping people all of the time. And so I'm going to include that into it, as well as finding extra, ways to help people in my surrounding, in my neighborhood, um, 10 miles away from me, globally, whatever the case might be. So that was my self-care really or part of my self-care really for this holiday, is that preparing for Christmas Eve service, going to Christmas Eve service, participating in it as fully as I could, being present. I won't lie, it was a little bit hard to be present because my mind does tend to wander. But I really told myself, okay, bring it back, be present, sing every single song, sing every single line in every single song, listen to the melody, all of those different things so that I could be as fully engaged and present as possible um, in that service. For self-care for the rest of this time, for the rest of the holidays, until New Year's, I'm going to plan to, watch as much TV as I can, and just relax as much as I can, listen to music, catch up on some of the readings, some of the things that I had been kind of putting off throughout the year because, I work a full time job and things like that. So I'm going to try to do a lot of catching up and things, but a lot of self care in that relaxation piece and not feeling guilty for relaxing. One of the things that, as I was thinking about the stress of the holidays, one of the things that came up. So I use Facebook as my main form of social media, and I'm more recently getting on Instagram to like, well, I've been on Instagram for a while, but like actually posting on Instagram, I haven't done that a lot. And so I'm doing that, but every so often TikTok will come on my Facebook, like somebody's TikTok will come up on my Facebook. I don't have TikTok, and I don't plan to get TikTok anytime soon because I can't keep up with what I already have. You know what I mean? I just can't keep up with the Facebook and the Instagram. Like I said, I'm only just now starting to post regularly on Instagram, and so I don't want to overwhelm myself and say, oh, now I'm going to get a TikTok that I have to now post videos on. Obviously, I'm on YouTube. I have not been posting consistently on YouTube. So I've been trying to do a lot of lives because I find it easier to do lives because you don't have to edit a video, find music, and do all of that stuff. But anyway, so a TikTok came across my Facebook page where this person was reviewing a video that they had gotten of a person that went to a restaurant, and they had asked. So this video had like, there were the two separate videos in one, but the first one was the person was so extremely angry that that their order didn't have ketchup and other sauces that they want in it. And so they went back into the restaurant. They were yelling at the employees, and they were stomping around, and they wanted to come, to the back of the restaurant store or where the food was. This was like a fast food joint. When you walk into fast food, how there's like a counter and you can directly see behind them, behind the person that's taking your order, everything that's going on, like the food preparation and stuff like that. And they wanted to like jump over the counter and go back there and do all this stuff. And I was like, that is definitely the stress of the holidays, just the unmanaged, not being able to manage the stress levels that you have. That will cause you to do things like that, like to be so extremely angry that they didn't give you the sauces that that you needed. Because if you think about it, not getting the sauces that you need should not garner such a strong reaction that you're going into the place trying to fight the employees. And even when they say, we're going to call the police, you're still going at it. Like there has to be more stressors in this person's life for them to do it. Or the other thing, which is not far-fetched, is that they were doing it for the reviews. Like maybe they had somebody filming themselves, and maybe they were going to use that as a way to garner attention or likes or some comments on their videos. That could be, something else that is happening these days, is people may just be doing that for the likes or the comments or the dislikes. Because I've found out recently that dislikes can also, like if somebody dislikes your video or whatever it is that you've posted, if they dislike it, you can still get, points and stuff. So maybe they were doing it for the dislikes. I don't know. Another thing that another part of the video was somebody, I can't remember exactly what happened to her food. It might have been cold or something. Yeah, it was cold. Her food was cold, or that's what she said. So she came up to the drive-through window, and when she addressed the person at the drive-through window, you could tell that she had been through the drive-through window one time, picked up her food, and now she was coming through the second time. And so she was telling this person that the food that they gave her was cold, and she didn't want cold food. And so she wanted her money back. And so the person at the drive-through window was telling her, we will be more than happy. Like, they were so polite. They were like, I'm so sorry that happened. We'll be more than, willing to replace your, food or give you your money back. Oh yeah. She had started by saying, she wanted another meal, like the same meal, just replaced it with a hotter meal. And the person was saying that they would do that, but it was the restaurant's policy that she returned the food that she had gotten that was cold, and then they would replace it for her. And for whatever reason, she would not do it, right? She would not return the food that she was given in order to get the hotter food back. And so the person, kept telling her, I'm sorry, I don't make up the policy. This is the policy of the place. And she kept arguing with them. And so finally the person was like, let me let you talk to our store manager. And so the store manager actually came out of the restaurant over to the drive-through side and was talking to her. And she was getting irate and belligerent and things like that. So they called the police. The police were, talked to the manager, and the police was like, okay, what's happening here? Okay, what is the store policy? What does she need to do in order to get her money back and things like that? Because at this point she was like, oh, I just want my money back. And so the police was like, okay, what can she do to get her money back? And they were like, just return the cold food and we will give you your money back. And so she wasn't doing it. And so finally the police was like, okay, so here's the number for because he got the number from the manager. He was like, here's the number for corporate, call corporate and take it up with them, but you have to leave the restaurant's property. And so I say this all to say, after seeing stories like this, it sounds like, especially for these two women, they were not handling their stress very well. Whatever was happening in their private lives was totally interfering with just their ability to control their emotions and things like that. And so please, please, please take care of yourselves out there. If you're feeling high emotions, if you're feeling stressed out about something, find somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can talk to, whether it is a friend, whether it's a sibling, whether it's a parent. If you don't feel like you can talk to any one of your family members for whatever reason, then see if you can talk to a therapist. Therapists are out there for that reason. Anytime we go through stressful situations, we can talk to a therapist about that. Anytime we go through a life transition, we can talk to a therapist about that. Anytime we have any stressors, we can talk to a therapist about that. Therapy doesn't have to be weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks on end. It doesn't have to be like a 6-month thing or a whole year thing. Therapy can be 4 to 8 weeks can be a good length for therapy sessions, just so that you can get things under control. You can even have your therapist do weekly sessions with you, and then you can even go down to bi-weekly, and then you can go to monthly sessions with your therapist if money is an issue or things like that for you. Majority of the therapists out there do accept insurance. If you are strapped for cash and you don't have a lot of money, you don't have insurance, there's a website that's called Open Path Collective. Open Path Collective are a group that started because they realized that people cannot afford therapy, especially if they don't have insurance. Because if you have insurance, then you just pay the therapist the copay that you would pay. For example, like if you went to a doctor or a specialist, that copay that you would pay that to the therapist, and then your insurance would pay the rest, right? But if you don't have insurance and you go to a therapist, you would have to be responsible for the full out-of-pocket amount. So Open Path Collective are a gathering of therapists that have an agreement. So the therapists make an agreement that they would charge anywhere from $30 for individual sessions to $80 for family sessions. And so if you were to do a family session, marriage and family therapy, that kind of stuff, you would be charged $80. So there's a range of things of payments between them. The lowest is usually $30. And so you can go to Open Path Collective and you can find therapists on there that you can talk to, and you can say, hey, here's a stressor that I'm going through in my life right now. And you can even tell them, hey, I don't want to, at the end of the time that you've set for your goals, because one of the things in therapy is to set goals. Let's say you reach the end of that period where you've met all the goals that you've set. you could tell that therapist, hey, can you see me once a month? Can I come back and check in with you every once a month? And we can kind of set a goal for checking in and things like that. So those things are very, very much possible. So please check in with a therapist if you don't have a friend that you can turn to, or you don't have any family members that you can turn to. But you would be surprised at the things that you share with your family members or your friends, that they've been through something similar, or they would be so understanding when you don't think that they would be so understanding. But therapists are there. It's a non-judgmental space. So when you go to therapy, it's a very non-judgmental space. You set the goals for the things that you want. It's pretty much your time to express the things that you need, and then get a professional who will help you to navigate some of those emotion regulation skills and those coping skills and things like that. So practice a ton of self-care, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care.